To me, it takes a special person to have compassion for animals. Not everyone has it.
At a shelter, you see many different scenarios. We do get some fantastic dogs who would make great family dogs.
Adopt. Don't go out there shopping for a breed, but consider that you have the time, because even though it's a cat and they're independent, they still need that socialization time. You can't be home for like 4 hours and then off you go. They still need that love and care.
Once you bring an animal into your home and as a pet, it's more of a home, because you can feel the love, because they give you love so unreservedly that it's just makes you feel good to be home.
It's much more rewarding to adopt a pet. First of all, if you're buying dogs online, usually they're there for money reasons, people just trying to make money. You're not sure what type of dog you're going to get, and they definitely will not take it back if you don't want it anymore.
I think that it is really rewarding. It's kind of the best thing for you. Animals help you so much with stress, and you just come home and you see them and it just makes your day better. I think that it's a lot better than getting from a breeder, because you know that these animals have had a home previous and weren't wanted, or whatever the circumstance was, and now you're giving this animal a forever home.
And when you see how much they appreciate it and that unconditional love comes out, it's the most rewarding feeling in the world.
We aren't funded by the government. We aren't part of the Ontario Animal Association, so we're not part of the SPCA or OSPCA. We're not part of Toronto Humane Society, so we're a standalone. So we run 100% on donation and fundraising. So every penny that goes here goes to basically the maintenance of this place, paying for our rent, feeding our cats, paying the vet bills and stuff like that.
We essentially get two forms of animals coming in here, either animals that came in as strays or animals that were surrendered by their owners. In the situations of animals that were surrendered by their owners, we do have a surrender profile where we do ask a vast array of questions to try to gauge as much information from the owner as possible, for both cats, dogs, anything like that.
And some of the dogs are found as stray, so basically running on the street, and a resident will call us and one of our officers will go pick up the dog and bring it here. In other cases, the animals are surrendered to us. We get them in many different ways. With our aging demographic here in Ontario, we're getting a lot of seniors who can no longer look after their pets. So they are surrendered to us either by themselves or by their families. It's a little bit sad, a little bit bittersweet, but our job is to make sure those pets get a brand new home.
We have that really, really shy feral cat, and they've just kind of, as soon as that person enters, they come out of their hidey hole and you're like, what? And next thing you know, you see that they got adopted, and it's amazing to see it happen faster than you thought it would.
Strays, it's kind of hard to know their background because they are strays. We know nothing about them.
We take animals from high kill shelters, we take them off the street. If somebody just doesn't have a loving home for them anymore, it's more of a rescue than it is just providing a shelter. The life expectancy, I think it's almost a 30% difference of longevity.
They go through a thorough medical examination when they first come in.
Their behavior will also be observed.
Generally, it's done online and/or of coming to visit, and we always have adoption coordinators here on Saturday.
Okay, euthanasia is a very touchy subject.
There's something medically wrong with them, and it's just too expensive.
You tend to get attached to them, and it's really hard once their time is up and situations has happened, and euthanasia is the only option for the animal.
I think the problem sometimes with breeding is the fact that if sometimes the breeder, they have potentially that agreement of not getting your animal fixed, and it is healthier for your animal to be fixed and not continue breeding, just because there are so many cats, especially cats, out there that need a home.
Josette is she was about 2 years old, and she was kept for breeding. She had maybe about a couple of litters, or they're thinking that it was a couple of litters. She had a dislocated leg they were going to amputate because they had never set him properly. So it was just sitting outside the joint.
I cared for him for 9 months when he was in the shelter here, and I was there when he was put down, and it was very emotional for me to do that because I had become quite attached to him.
Well, we have Jella, who's next door, who came from a hoarding situation, and it wasn't a cat hoarding situation. It was more objects, and because there was just so much, he didn't get to move around a lot, and when he first came in, he had a particular parasite, which he had it for such a long time. We believe it's actually affected his nervous system.
Her name's Mallory. She came to us 2 Februarys ago as a stray. She was completely matted where she couldn't even go to the bathroom. Her teeth were falling out of her face. She was so emaciated, skinny. And we had kind of the 7-day period where we weren't sure what the shelter was going to be able to do with her because she was so old and sick.
We have 2 Norwegian forest cats. They were brothers and they're about 5 years old. And they were found in a park in a small crate. And the cats were probably about this big. So they were jammed in this crate and they were brought here. The one had all his teeth rotting.
The loss of life, as anybody would say. So there are scenarios and situations where, unfortunately, whether or not it's due to complications during surgery or just age, that when that loss of life happens, that's probably one of the most heart-pulling strings.
There's a lot of issues that are underlying that you don't know about, and you're not aware that you have to try to meet halfway with the animal and work with the animal. So there's a lot of trust issues that you have to overcome and deal with.
We try to bridge that gap. We try to marry the two, and we do a really good job of it. But it is quite a challenge.
I think the emotional thing is you want to take all of them home. Like when we come in here, we want to take every single animal home. And it's hard to walk away and say, no, I can't take you home, you know, and you just hope for the best.
Essentially, they're all finding a forever home, hopefully, and it's the best for them.
The more they see you, the more they start opening up to you, like Brendan started opening up to me. He was very timid at the beginning. But they start, you start falling in love with them, you start building that bond, and then that's when you know that's the cat or dog or pet for you. I'd say definitely visit.
At that 7-day mark, I took her home and I fostered her for 4 months. She was able to have the surgery because she gained weight.
What's even more amazing is when you walk in through the end of the day and you're walking home and you see all these little faces looking at you. How can you have a bad day? It just erases that bad day.
I think that their lives are essentially always better when they're adopted.
This is much more rewarding. I'm actually doing something positive.
I think it's helped with my anxiety a lot.
And I found it as a tremendous stress reliever.
And you don't know how quickly the house dynamic changes with having pets. Feel that it's like a loving home when you come in. The first thing you come in is through the door. All the cats and the dogs are all waiting for you at the front door. Either they're hungry or they just want affection or they just want to suck up to you, but it's a great feeling when you're coming home.
There's a little gleam in their eye, there's a spring in their step. You can see how they've adjusted to their new home. It was almost like they were never here.
To people who might be against adopting, I would tell them to come to our shelter, and I would say the first thing, come in with an open mind. Come in with an open mind towards adoption. Come in with an open mind towards what your perceptions are about a shelter. Some people view it as a jail for animals. Come in with an open mind.
I would say put your preconceptions aside. Come into the shelter.
I think that you need to educate yourself. I don't think that you should be so close-minded.
What's there to be against? That shouldn't even be an issue about adopting.
Adopting a shelter animal, you're adopting for love, not for, I have this fancy cat.
Animals don't judge you. Animal just wants you to look after it and care for it and everything like that. And when we're looking after that, we quickly see that they appreciate that.
Just come in, meet a dog, take it home, your life will be better for it.
It's not the animals that get prepared, it's the people that get prepared to have an animal in their life.